मजा कस्तो मैला देखेको
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of A Drink with
Mary
and Meena.
I love how we are wearing teddy bear fleeces
Teddy bear
jackets
fleeces,
whatever
teddy bear socks.
जाडो आइसक्यो
cold.
साथीहरु it's too cold
It's too cold. Plus I've woken up just now, so it's
the
I'm
body
extra
temperature
cold.
is a bit yeah
Oh my god, did you hear the wind just now? Anyway.
we got Nepali tea
Yeah. Nepali tea.
to drink. Cheers.
And then we've got Puff. And then good old, we have to finish this. It's been here for a while now.
This is Nepali puff. All the way from Nepal. I think my cousin's husband got it, but thank you. we love souvenirs like this that can be eaten. Anda. Nepal ko koseli.
I'm sorry, I'm hungry.
She's always hungry. I noticed like last 2 podcasts where you're like, oh, I'm hungry.
Snack off.
Almost didn't see that. Anyways, as we're trying to talk and eat and drink at the same time, the podcast today is going to be very emotional. And since we're coming towards the end of the year, basically we have a month left to stay.
Yeah.
So this is like sort of our reflection on the entire year and the year before and just in the past. So we all have teachers in our life. Teachers in our life. Some are positive, some are negative. Some brought the worst out of us. Some brought the best out of us, regardless.
Anybody who came taught a lesson, basically.
Yeah, anybody who changed you as a person is considered as teacher. So hence Meena, Didi and I, we wrote a letter to our teachers. Letter bandane phrases, like a paragraph each for our teachers in our life. Basically I said Didi like say a group chat ma 3 each one, but I couldn't think of a third person that I would at this time of my life. I mean, there was one who was like close to going to the position, but I don't think a teacher position would be ideal for that person. So only 2, but these got 3. So let's start with her and then do like a back and forth medley like we always do.
Okay. I haven't journaled in a few years, I think. And I don't do it anymore as well, I think, because I've gone past that point. But when I was writing this morning, I actually wrote it this morning, it actually felt good, you know, writing it down and thinking about it and then rethinking about it. And then, you know, sometimes when you write, you can't just get it right the first time. So you rephrase it and then think, okay. And then while you're writing, you do revisit all your feelings, right? So anybody out there who wants to do this, please feel free to do this. It was quite therapeutic, actually.
Thank you, Mary the therapist.
But I think the first one for us is pretty obvious because we both have spoken about this person
in the podcast as well.
Ever since this podcast started, I know.
I mean, was probably our prime reasons as well.
Yeah. Of trauma.
Thank you.
The origin story. Right. Mine is obviously mother. Okay. Right, here he goes.
That's long. Is that all for your mom?
It's a short story. And as I wrote, I said phrases enough because I thought the story was going to be too long. But as I kept writing, I struggled to shorten it, because there was just so much to say, so much to feel. Anyway, I wish that one day I would like to sit down with my mother and say all this to her, because obviously you have to deal with the person that you have the feelings for, but considering my mother is not in the emotional maturity or the state to have this conversation at the minute, I think I'll wait for her to mature up a little bit. It's sad to say that, isn't it? A daughter waiting for her mom to mature. But it's quite common, actually. Anyway, here goes nothing. We'll try not to cry.
Oh, we got tissues ready.
Okay. Dear mother, thank you for being disappointed at my birth when you couldn't feel the genitals you had hoped for.
Very poetic.
Very poetic. Before I truly started loving myself, I couldn't understand how I was different and why I got less of everything. Later on, when I experienced the same from the wider world, I realized you had unintentionally taught me one of the most honest and realistic lessons of this life. This helped me not only embark on this beautiful journey of self-love and betterment. That wasn't crying, eh? That was like my mucus is stuck.
Mike, Mike.
Not yet, not yet. This helped me not only embark on this beautiful journey of self-love and betterment, but also made me so resilient that I feel like I can take on the world. I am sorry I couldn't understand that you were just a woman like me who did what she needed to do in order to survive in a society like ours. I am sorry for resenting you for not knowing any better. I understand now that, like me, you must have gone through phases of growth, had some regrets, made some mistakes. Thank you for giving birth to me, as I wouldn't have seen and learned what I know now. I've gone way past the need for this, but I sincerely hope you know that your apologies have reached me without you ever having to put them into words.
The last part was beautiful. That was...
No,
the last part was really beautiful. I love that. That was very sincere, very honest, very you.
From the bottom of my heart.
From the heart of a bottom. But I love that.
Yeah. And I think as I was writing, I realized that, the apology that you wait for a lifetime, at the end, you don't really need it.
It's not. I think the apology that you need is very Batabelama implemented things. Because, when you argue with someone, you're like, you need to say sorry to Hatmilau. Like, you've always been drilled there needs to be a physical verbal exchange of apology, then only you can move on, then only you can be friends. But sometimes after you forgive someone and someone has apologized, you don't necessarily have to be friends. I think that's a very important lesson of life as well.
And the thing is, apology doesn't have to be verbal, right? Because these days my mom does things that makes me realize that she regrets things. And I think our generation, they don't necessarily know how to put it into words because they've never it's not normal for them. It's uncomfortable for them.
I think all Asians struggle with that issue. Up to this day as well, because they never had expressive parents. And when they have expressive parents, it's just like, are you normal? Type of big question mark answer. Because it's just never been around. But that was very beautiful, man. It was like short and sweet. My letter or phrase is literally my first draft in a very Marisha way. So I've got two people. I think I want to go with the obvious one first. I know. What's that? No, I'm so this is a letter to my father. To my father, I have resented you all my life for not being the ideal father, for favoring me less. All this time I tried to prove you that I'm good enough. I must admit that I have to thank you for instigating it. No, you did not get the entire credit of the woman I am today, but thank you for instigating it, for which I have provocative thoughts and progressive thoughts. Thank you for mentioning time and again that I'm not ordinary, because I'm not. Oh shit. Oh, it's hard.
No. Take a break.
Okay. I was born to stand out, speak my mind, and be content with my feelings, and I'll forever be that. Thank you for being an example of what I do not want from a partner, although I seem to find comforts in those. They call it daddy issues, falling for men who are below the bar because there was no bar for me. Oh man, it's harder than I thought. Shit.
Do you want to pause?
Yeah. Okay. Despite all of this, I must admit you have become my life's biggest teacher. I wished it was under different circumstances, less negative, but that's just how I learned it. I don't think I respect you fully. I don't think I can ever do that. But all I know that is I love you, and thank you for bringing me to this earth and seeing and sharing what I have to with the people that I love. That's all. Damn. Just like a back context, I guess. It hit hard for me because, like, I know the days with my dad is numbered now, so it's like, shit, I need to do so many things in less of a time. I wish we went on the family holiday that he insisted to, and suddenly, like, it's not a regret, but it's just like, I wish we could do that all over again, kage thing.
It's always like, we wish we had more time.
Yeah, because my dad was like big on holidays. Like every time he came back home, we used to go travel Nepal and whatnot, and that was quite unheard for other families neither. But I didn't realize like how important that was to him and what it was him type of. And we just always thought like, heck, gonna put type of thing. But now that you're starting to travel and you're starting to be an adult and you're realizing, oh, my dad's love language was quality time and act of service. Maybe I should have paid more attention to that type of thing. It's never too late, but still, if I had more time, can't get situation.
But you know what, Mary? The understanding that we extend to our parents, I think you should extend it to yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know any better. I think you always have to understand that we don't know any better, and regret the huncha, but don't let it consume you, because as much as you have forgiven your dad for not knowing any better, I think forgiveness for yourself
begins from home.
Yeah, should
come
as well.
I definitely struggle with self-love than I thought more. I struggle with self-love more than I thought I did, because we often just project self-love as very exterior, confidence, body positivity and things like that. But in terms of emotionally, I'm such an empath, so I pick up our romantic emotions so much that I forgot to actually feel for my own care. So I'm trying my best, but it just doesn't work out like that all the time.
See, that's the thing with people who've gone through traumas and disrespect, is that you don't want to do it to others. And sometimes you bend over backwards to not to do it to others, that you actually end up doing it to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's so important to remember the balance of when to stop being super kind or when to stop being super nice.
And it takes longer time than I thought it would. It takes
10 years
it
still
takes
struggling.
forever.
10 years more why do I think I'm young? 34.
No, honestly, it takes super long, super long.
And it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going until this struggle of where self-love ends and where selfishness starts, kind of, debate within you. It is gonna stick to you forever,
Definitely.
And anyway, man, I feel like do you think our crying will end here, or do you think
I don't think it will end. I think it just instigated it, like, but depends who your next letter to is. Because if it's like something and someone that I sort of know backstory of, I might actually lose a shit.
Oh, it's raining. It's so nice. I love the sound
Yeah,
of
if
rain.
you have a background of rain, then enjoy with us. Have a coffee, have a wine.
I think you definitely know this person, but I don't think I get as affected by him anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Ruala koi, last one. Right. It's, well, I don't know why I said dear men of my life, but it's definitely for this one man, my first.
Should we say dear ex?
Dear ex, yeah.
Ooh. Why did you do this to me?
Funny enough, it kind of starts like that.
Really? I know it.
Right, dear ex. I don't know how I tolerated your abuse, but I'm glad I survived and came out stronger. You taught me everything about what a relationship should not be. When I was too young to understand, I mistook your obsession, your possessive and controlling behavior as love. Kabir Singh. Little did I know how unhealthy that kind of love was. I am so sorry for staying, not out of love, but out of pity and out of my need to fill the void that my mother had left. It was disrespectful and dishonest on my part. It was the doubt that I may not find another person who will love me this much, and the silly excuses like how long we had been together, how far we have come together to end it now. It was also the fear of having to start all over again with someone else and having to go through it all over again. You helped me understand that I don't have to look too far or stay in a relationship out of my doubts and fears to find true love. No one can love me and fulfill my needs better than I can. Thank you for showing me that choosing someone out of need is just an illusion of choice. It is always much less than choosing someone when you don't really need to make a choice. That's how you actually find a love that's not selfish. So thank you for coming into my life. A bigger thank you for getting out of my life. And, and I hope you have also found your peace and your true love.
That was cute. Like a polite you, basically.
A polite fuck you, a resentment that has been processed and let go. That's how I call it.
I almost wrote a letter to my ex as well, but I thought they just didn't deserve it.
How did we go from to now
truthfully yours? They're like all that. Went through all that trauma, emotional, mental, whatever abuse, but still, I don't think they deserved it, because that was a part of me in the past who had a very low self-esteem when I introduced that person in my life. So I'm not that person anymore. So just.
You know, when I was trying to choose these 3 people that I wanted to thank, I did think long and hard about whether this person should be included.
But I feel like...
and I thought the same. Oh no, he doesn't deserve it because I've got so many other positive people. But, you know, he definitely fundamentally changed who I am. And he's affected a lot of decisions that I've taken over the years as well, in terms of choosing the positive people that have come into my life and filtering all the emotions that I choose to now have. Okay? So whether I deny it or not, he is definitely...
What's the biggest lesson in your life?
Lesson, good or bad, everything.
Lesson.
I'll accept everything.
Lesson. So this is my last one.
Yeah, I am curious to see who this...
It's very surprising, actually. I was in a shock as well.
Don't tell me it's me.
Fuck off. It was very surprising to me. I never thought I would actually write a letter to her. I thought it'd be my mum or like someone else, you know. But it's a letter to my grandma.
I get it.
Yeah.
I instantly get it.
It's a letter to my grandma.
I mean, you don't even have to read the letter. I get it, but read it for the viewers.
So by grandma, I mean my mom ko mom. I'm not very close to my dad's mom. I mean, we're trying to get close at the moment. Like, we do some video calls, but this is the letter to my grandma. I love you for your selfless dedication, forever being selfless and giving all that you have. Thank you for teaching me how giving doesn't equal to happiness, because that's what is encouraged in this day and world. If you give, punya kamanta, which means you'll earn karma, dharma, whatever you want to call it. I wish you focused on yourself more, invested in your happiness, in opposed to impressing everyone around you. Thank you for the life lessons. I have some people-pleasing tendencies, and when it overpowers it, it reminds me of you, of how much I do not want to become you. I want to love selflessly like you and find someone who loves me selflessly like Granddad does. You are a two-pair that makes me have faith in marriage, but it's always a reminder how much I do not want to be like you. I do not want to stay helpless at home, overthinking everything and anything in the world just because someone else might get affected by it differently. Thank you for that. I'll never be you. And I'm a greatest disappointment you probably ever have. But this is me. I'll never have my mouth. You're a freestyle. I'll never have my mouth. I'll never laugh with my mouth closed. I'll never have my legs crossed like you want it to. That's never me. That's none of our siblings. So thank you for the reminder how unique I am and how I want to be me. So that's the letter to my grandma.
I'm glad you're the greatest disappointment she's ever had.
I am. She's still like, she calls me. I mean, we have a conversation on the phone, but it's always few words and that's it, because we just don't align. And that's, I think, where it should be left.
See, this is the thing. As you said, Anna, you see some people like dedicating their lives for friends, for kindness and everything. And it's almost coming not as a free will. It's come because you want to please people. It's come because you think that's the way to live in the society. This is why I always have problems with people who go into religion and preach about being nice and kind to others. It took you going into a religion to understand that. You should have understood it. That should have been one of your default feelings that you were born with, you know. You shouldn't have anybody else or a whole institution to tell you that you should be kind to others.
And why do people pray to get something back?
That's the thing, right? Somebody who is nice and kind to others with no expectations is doing it out of free will. And those kind of people, if they don't get the same feeling back, then they don't hold any resentment. They just think, okay, fair enough, I did my best, that's it.
Yeah, my
yeah.
grandma tried to fit in this society so damn hard. She still tries to this day and age. She tried to mold us into it. She tried to, you know, put us into this religious, cultural blockade where us as women, we were disrespected non-stop. So I wanted to write all of that to letter ma, but I didn't want to, because Yokurate, I've already forgiven her for that. But the main root of the entire problem is her people-pleasingness. She will complain that someone is hurting her, but she would still do things for them because she can't let go of the people-pleasing tendencies. And sadly, I have picked up some of it, but it's limited to family, I guess, because that's where I learned it, you know. Family ma matre I don't really give a shit type go. Layer, okay. You don't want it, but I've sadly inherited some of it.
Yeah.
Because you just basically spend 24/7 with that person at one point in your life.
When you describe your grandma, I see the similarities and glimpses of my mom in that. Okay? And the way I try to empathize with that is that she was a woman born in a society that conditioned her to behave a certain way.
Of course.
And I think she thought that is the only way my daughter can survive in this world. So if I teach her those ways, despite how wrong it was, she's gonna do well. I think for them, if you put your head down, if you do what a woman should behave like in the society, normal behavior, then she will be liked.
No, definitely.
This the is, but I think this is what I've always said, no? I forgive my mom for not being great enough and courageous enough to deal with this society.
Yeah. I actually forgive my grandma, and she passed that on to my mom heavily, and I've forgiven my mom for that as well. I mean, there are times where she stood up, but there are times where she thinks I might be a bigger disappointment to my parents. That's her biggest fear. And to disappointing her parents is basically my mom's biggest fear. Okay?
Yeah.
And obviously who drilled that in her is my grandparents.
That's your mom's trauma being projected onto
you.
So
she obviously she tried to be different. She tried to bring change on how she raised us. My mom apparently used to get beaten up hardcore by grandma, but she changed that with us. She was like, I'm not going to do that to my kids, Manira.
Yeah.
And we never got a beating from my mom, funnily enough. Angelic children, if I must say. But yeah, the generation trauma was there. Until this day, like, regardless of how much my grandma gives, like, she gives very selflessly, if I have to say it now. She's still not happy because she's not content with herself.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for her that, you know, when people said you give, you get happiness, it's not what it is. Yeah.
I mean, I think of my mom and, like, look at how badass of a woman she was and is as well at the same time. Like, when you hear about my mom out in the society, you think, okay, this woman is lit. Like, I've seen her chase a tiger, that's how courageous she is. And she's also like that in the society as well. But still, this society molded her to be a woman. Despite all her courage, that's one barrier that she couldn't break.
She had to be in a level. And I don't blame her. That barrier, even we are struggling to break it. So she did very well for her day and age.
Yeah.
I know, like,
exactly.
Even we, as a modern woman, as opinionated women, as women who speak their mind, even we're struggling it.
Yeah.
She did fucking well.
She did.
Well fucking done to her.
Did.
And who is it? Antim letter to? Antim means last in Nepalese.
Do you wanna take a wild guess?
Divas
I think I did think of writing a letter to him because obviously he's the best I've had. But I think I would save that for our wedding vows.
That's so cute. Mary's getting married soon, by the way. Did you write it for a friend?
No.
Sibling?
No. Oh my God, I'm gonna cry already.
Fuck, who is this person that you wrote a letter to?
And I'm surprised you didn't think of this.
Yourself? Yeah. Yourself. No, I was thinking like third party person. Who is it that, like, if it's not Divastai, I couldn't think of anyone who you would have wrote it for, okay? And I was like, maybe one of your friends. But then I was like, yourself?
Yep. Let's go.
I love it.
It's funny how I didn't cry
at anyone.
Reading the other two letters, but oh my God, this is not that long. And I hope people who are listening to this can sort of relate to this relationship of you with yourself, Hana. Dear me. So this is the me until yesterday. Okay. Dear me. If I could, I would give you a long, warm hug. Am I supposed to write? How am I supposed to read this?
Carry on if you are ready.
Okay. This is not sad tears though. This is the tears of like pride. Well done for making it this far and not giving up on yourself. Well done for pushing limits and bulldozing through barriers, even if it meant making hurtful decisions. I am happy that you have developed the courage to walk unconventional paths and to follow your heart. I know you still have your demons to deal with and you have your bad days, but you have also earned my trust to deal with them. I feel safe knowing that you will be fine no matter what. I'm glad you're finally getting everything you deserve in life and are in a peaceful place. Keep going. I promise to always love you and support you unconditionally. Sincerely, your number one cheerleader.
Oh, I love that. That was really cute. That was honestly cute.
I know. I was like thinking, Kuta, who do I write? And then, you know, this is how we've been conditioned. Yeah. When we think about who should we be thankful to, we always think of external parties.
People. Yeah.
And then yeah, I talk so much about self-love, but yet I have spoken to myself and written a letter to myself. And I feel like this is how it confirmed my feelings that I am getting there where I am truly actually living what I preach. And I'm glad.
I write a letter to myself every day on my birthday. So I've been doing it for the past few years. I think 24, 25 together. And it's been interesting.
Yeah.
I think everyone should write a letter to yourself.
Definitely.
But I haven't written a letter to myself or legal current statement though. It's always been like in the past where at the age of 8 or at the age of 10 how I was and what would I say to my older self.
Hang on a sec.
I have written that on Instagram.
Your therapist suggested this, didn't they? Like, write a letter to yourself as you were something years old.
So it's funnily enough, I've written that. Actually, I might read that post out.
Go for it.
I wrote
this is
in
your
my
third letter.
I wrote it in my Instagram. I'm probably sure I archived it because I was just like, no one really needs to.
I remember reading one post.
This was ages ago. Let me see if it actually is there or if I have deleted it. B-roll. My therapist suggested the same thing, funnily enough, and I was like, yeah, okay. So this is a letter. This is a letter that I wrote for myself in 2021. So that's like last year. I turned 26 last year, so this was like 10. I wrote it for my 16-year-old self. I have a picture of my 16-year-old self there.
Oh,
if you can imagine, I was very patholo at that puberty age, you know. I say hello. This is very typical me. 16-year-old Maisha, I hope you're well. Of course, it's stressful and overwhelming moving into a new country. Your life is changing away from your friends, family, and your first love. Which wasn't my first love, by the way, but I thought it was Tiwelama, you know.
Oh, yeah.
New college, new set of friends, adjusting to this whirlpool of things. Emotions are high and time zones further. Devastated by your first breakup, but you didn't know any better. I'm so proud of you for getting those A's for the first time in your entire life and quickly realizing it doesn't define your worth. Oh shit! This was a very year you hit your first 60 laps in the swimming pool, by the way.
Oh, I was like lapse.
Tehta, pause for a moment. Take a breath. Growing up doesn't need to be this rapid. Always too mature for your age and misunderstood. I wish you loved yourself more and just be a teenager. Keep taking those rash decisions, awakening spontaneous and curious self. Thank you for making Mary the woman who she is. You are 26 today, and yes, you're not married. Not caps lock Matai, by the way. But filthy rich with all of these friends and family around you. Happy birthday, Marisha. I love you forever and always. So yeah.
That's a good one.
I think
So you already had a letter in red, like.
I guess because like I never really thought of writing a letter as it because I always do that every year, Nita. So it was like, do I need to type? Okay.
Yeah.
But that was letter last year for myself because that was a decade that I moved into this country. But yeah, it was peak times.
You know, when we write a letter to ourselves, I sense more pride than anything. And that is how I feel like we're going the right direction. If you look back and you have more pride at what you've done than regret, then you're going the right direction. You're doing something right there.
And not just pride and regret, if you are evolving and changing for the good, that's the right direction as well. Just breaking barriers, not just of society, but of yourself. That's the hardest part. Proving to yourself, loving yourself are the toughest things in life that I've learned as a 27-year-old.
We're still learning it.
Exactly.
We forget every now and then.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop, by the way. When people are like, there is a saying in Nepali, like, you've adulted enough, you should have known. You're still learning. Like my dad only recently, a few weeks ago, said to us, like, Bharat Mama, which is Bunti's dad, Sharminda's dad, he's the only truest friend that I have. And for him to realize that at the age of 57 years of age, he learned friendship at this time. Never in his life prior to that. He's always said he's a very social man, but he's learned friendship now. He thinks who my true friends and who my not true friends are. Because being in the military, it's very easy to say everyone's my sati. But separating friends, colleagues and acquaintances was difficult to him. At the age of 57, he only realized. So it never really stops, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think when I look back, I can instantly think of so many times where I felt stuck. But I didn't realize that I may have felt stuck at that moment, but I was still growing.
Yeah.
I was still feeling things. Even, humans, sometimes we even get tired of being stuck. And the process of being stuck for so long is also the build up for you to get out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So even if you feel stuck, you just know that life's moving and you're moving with it, whether you like it or not. And then you will get there. Somehow you will get there. Someday you will stop being addicted to drama. One day maybe I will be.
Never. I might just cut that part and send it to Diva style. So every time she does shit, just replay one.
One day I may not be addicted to drama. But that's okay.
I truly wish that day for you from the bottom of my heart.
No, I don't think.
But you wouldn't be you.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. I say that, but I think inside, I feel like I will never stop loving drama because. Imagine me without drama. Can you imagine me without drama?
Nobody can.
My life would not be as colorful as it have been, or I don't think my life will be as colorful as it would be if I don't love drama. I just have this,
I think you're one of those just naughty people. Like, generally.
I don't even deny that.
Moze, I think I'm one of those dukhi atmas, like people like to call it.
Excuse me, madam. Being addicted to drama also includes being addicted to sadness and being dukhi atma.
I guess so. Tara, I think
Shut up. Just get on my
No, that is a terrible wagon. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be associated.
You're already there. You're already there. You've been there since you were born. Like,
See,
what are you saying?
So this is a proverb that I think describes me. Kita porera jansa, kita porera huncha. I don't learn my lesson until I get deep shit into whatever it is. Okay? Like literally drowning on. Oh, maybe I should paddle now. That's me.
No, maybe let the water come to just my nose. Let it tickle my nostrils.
And then maybe I'll start paddling. Oh, this thoughts. Oh God.
Oh my God. This has been a very short and heavy, jam-packed episode, eh?
Yeah, I hope you write a letter to the people who taught you, and most importantly, write a letter to yourself. I think everyone should write that at one point in their lifetime. And in different phases as well, okay?
Yeah.
Because when you're young, like, because you become the person who you wanted your 8-year-old to have, like, you become the person who you didn't have when you were younger.
Yeah.
So why didn't you write a letter for her?
Also, I just had an idea. If you would like to share your story or your letter with us, please DM so that we can make an episode out of it, and hopefully people will relate to your story as well. Hannah?
Definitely.
I love sharing stories, I think, these days. I just really love.
She's getting ready for her vows, mate. That's what it is. Anyways, thank you for giving us so much love. Please give us 5 stars in Spotify. Keep that number going. On YouTube, we've got quite a few views recently. So thank you so much for that. And keep it going as well. Naya subscribers, like namaste. And what? I keep the analytics, okay? I check on it sometimes. Comments over Gordina is usually
I'm already there.
But yeah. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for listening. See you on the next one.